Hey you guys, it's Diana. Today I'm going to share with you my thoughts on using a heart rate monitor and tracking your fitness output when you're working out and monitoring sort of your heart rate and using that as a guide to kind of help you reach your fitness goals. Now, I'm not a cardiologist or a doctor, and I'm not even a certified fitness instructor, but what I can tell you is that I have been monitoring my heart rate now for probably the last 5 or 6 years, and I use a heart rate monitor to train when I am specifically trying to reach a goal that is fitness or physique related. And I use my heart rate monitor in both of those situations. So a heart rate monitor is, they're all the craze these days, or fitness trackers. And, for the most part now we're wearing them on our wrist. We used to wear them around, our chest area. And that's how I first started using a heart rate monitor. What I really like about fitness trackers that we can now wear on our wrists is that they're just a little bit more convenient because we can always wear them and we can kind of manage our heart rate and our steps or physical activity throughout a 24-hour period, which I really like. So before I go any further, though, I do want to state that if you are starting a new health and fitness routine, it's always advised to check with your physician to make sure that you are healthy enough to start a new program, especially if you are trying to kind of get into that area of exercise that's a little bit more intense. So you just want to make sure that you can handle what it is you're about to embark on. And if you're going to be using a heart rate monitor, you want to make sure that you kind of understand your own physical limitations in accordance to what you'll be looking for in your heart rate monitor. So there's 3 zones that I look at particularly with my heart rate monitor, and I do use a FitBit. I use the FitBit Blaze. Before this, I had the FitBit Charge HR, and then I had the Flex. I've had them all since the beginning. So this one is new to me, and I got it because my Charge HR kept breaking on me. So I decided to kind of upgrade to a bigger fitness tracker that kind of gave me some more options. The 3 areas that I really look for when I'm training are the peak zone, the cardio zone, and then the fat burning zone. And I'm kind of describe for you the 3 types of exercise I do and how I land in each one of those zones. So there goes my air conditioning if you can hear that. So for the fat burning zone is usually when I am walking or when I'm doing a yoga type of class. So I will get my heart rate up, but it won't necessarily get into the cardio zone. It stays more in the lower zone where it's not a resting heart rate, but it's not actually into that like exercise heart rate type of zone. So my activity is a little bit more than just sitting or kind of at the resting state, but it's not quite at the exercise capacity state. So I call that the fat burning zone for me. And it will trigger on your Fitbit. The second zone that triggers on a Fitbit is called the cardio zone. And for me, I'm in the cardio zone usually when I'm on a run or I'm on a very brisk walk, maybe something with some hills in it, but I'm more at a steady state type of exercise. So when I'm running, I can run for 3 or 4 miles and I run at a pretty steady state. There's no big hills where I run. So there's no need necessarily for my heart rate to, get into a burst or into some high rate momentarily and then come back down. So that is where I usually stay in a cardio zone. And then the peak zone for me is when I'm above the cardio zone and I'm in a level where I consider it for me to be a little bit more vigorous and I am breathing heavy. I can still carry on a conversation at the lower end of a peak zone, but when I'm really working at my full capacity, then it becomes a little bit more difficult for me to carry on a conversation just because I'm a little bit short of breath. So I personally notice the most physique changes, so the most lean muscle mass and the most fat burning off my body when I work consistently in the peak zone. Now, a peak zone is achieved with my fitness level when I'm doing a HIIT type of workout, and that would be kind of a high intensity interval training. So I'm going to work out as hard as I physically can, as hard as I can mentally push my body to work out, but I'm going to do it for a little bit shorter duration of a time. So the difference between cardio and like a peak zone or getting into that high interval training thing is that if I'm gonna run, I could run at that steady state, keep the same running pace for 30 minutes to 60 minutes. So 3 miles to about 6 miles. And I can stay at that pace for that length of time. When I'm doing a HIIT style workout or I'm working out in that peak zone, I'm usually working out in like in a sprint type of thing or a burst type of exercise, and then I'll recover, and then I'll burst, and then I'll recover. So a spinning class could be an example of where you could work out in the peak zone, because you're gonna be either out of your saddle and you're gonna be climbing a hill, so your tension on your bike is gonna be high, or you could be sitting in your saddle and you could be running or biking a sprint. So again, you're going to keep your heart rate up. But again, you only do that for a short period of time, and then you'll recover, and then you do it again, and then you recover, and that can keep you in that peak zone. One of the workout programs that I have been doing this past week that I've really noticed that it's been easy for me to stay in that peak zone, which is where I like to be, is working with the core to force workout. And that's because it is designed to be one of those exact type of workouts, which is considered a HIIT workout, which is high intensity interval training. Meaning for 1 minute, I am working at a high intensity, but not so high that I can't maintain it for the full minute. And I'm using multiple parts of my body. So I'm using my legs and I'm using my upper body at the same time, which again, naturally just generates a higher heart rate for me. I do that for a minute. And then I do a 30-second burst. So I'm gonna work out as hard as I possibly can for 30 seconds. I'm gonna repeat the 1 minute, repeat the 30 seconds, and then I have a break. So I'm working out for 3 solid minutes. That type of workout gets me into that peak zone where I'm definitely labored in my breathing. I'm feeling like I'm working out really hard, but I know I'm only gonna do it for 3 minutes so I can mentally sustain that level of fitness. What I'll notice is that in a 30-minute or 20 to 30-minute workout period at that peak state, I can achieve my fitness level results much faster than I would just doing a cardio or a fat burning heart rate zone for even a longer period of time. So that's why HIIT workouts and these high intensity type of workouts that are shorter in duration but higher in intensity have really worked for people. And the reason a heart rate monitor really does come in handy is because we can perceive that we're working out harder than we might actually be heart rate wise. And it really is that heart rate that's going to determine how many calories you're burning and how much fat you're going to burn. And in that peak zone, you will actually burn fat more efficiently than in the fat burn zone, which I know seems a little bit confusing, but the fat burn zone is just, you would have to work out for so long to make that a true fat burning type scenario for yourself, because you're just not going to work, you're not going to burn as many calories in the same amount of time as you will in that peak zone or even that cardio zone. And in the peak zone, you're going to burn more than you are in the cardio zone because you're working harder and it takes more calories to burn to get your body to work at that level. So I like to work at the peak level because I know that I can be a more efficient machine, both in calorie burning and fat burning, than I would if I was working in the cardio zone. Now I love to run, so I do often run in that cardio zone. And when I'm running for a longer duration, I do kind of try to stay in that cardio zone, and I do monitor my heart rate because I want to be able to sustain that over a longer period of time without taxing my body too much. I wouldn't be able to do a run in the peak zone for a 60-minute duration. I just wouldn't be able to handle that, and it's just not good on my body. So there's a time and place for each type of exercise, and knowing what your own fitness goals are will help you kind of determine where you want to work out. Now, all of this is based on age, and there's a calculation you could do. Just Google how to figure out what your heart rate is, and then when you put your numbers into your FitBit, it will kind of calculate the zones for you. And then there's a custom area as well if you would like to kind of customize it. Because I'm 50, my heart rate, in order for me to reach a peak zone, is actually pretty low. But because I'm fit, I know I can work at a higher capacity. So I've actually customized my own heart rate so that I know that I can keep myself in what my body needs to do to burn at that peak zone efficiently, to burn off body fat and to kind of get the lean muscle that I want. you have to figure out whatever your own comfort zone and figure out your own numbers if you want to customize it. I am not the person that can advise you on that. Just do a little bit of research and just make sure, like I said, that you're healthy enough, and then you can kind of monitor your heart rate for a couple days and kind of see what your results are based on how hard you're working out and where your peak cardio and fat burning zones are falling into place. One of the other really beneficial things about working out in that peak heart rate zone is what's called the afterburn effect. And that's where your body has been working out at such a level for a period of time that even after you're working out, your body is just going to naturally burn calories on its own throughout the rest of the day. So that's another reason why I really like to work out in that peak zone. And I know for some people it can be a little bit uncomfortable because you do feel like you're working out that hard. I mean, you will be taxed. It will be uncomfortable at first. You know, like there's days where I'm like, I feel like I was going to throw up during that workout. I never did, but you want to work kind of at that level until you mentally and emotionally and physically kind of catch up to what your heart rate's doing. And then it'll be that thing that you'll just kind of get used to that feeling and you'll like it and you'll want to work out in that zone. But that afterburn effect is really, really important to understand with that peak zone. And that's where your body just becomes this fat burning machine, and you're going to just shed off that fat really easily on its own. And that's where I have noticed, since monitoring my heart rate and keeping my workouts at that level of that peak zone, has really, really changed in the fact that my body's burning fat even when I'm not in a workout type of situation. All of this stuff can be Googled, so if you want to go further into doing some research or maybe figure out some stuff that's specific for you, I've just kind of Googled information, played trial and error with my heart rate monitor, watched my physique, watched my weight, watched what my body fat looks like, because you can all see it on your own body. And when I start to notice that it's disappearing, then I know I found the perfect heart rate for myself and the perfect type of exercise. So HIIT workouts will get you in that peak zone. Anything with an interval type of level of heart rate, so even a Zumba class or any kind of class that you would take at the gym where you're kind of dancing around, as long as you monitor your heart rate and you get yourself into the peak zone. One thing I always say is that your instructor can't get you to work out hard, or the DVD that you're watching can't get you to work out any harder. You have to know your heart rate, and you have to know your comfort level, and you have to watch your numbers to make sure that you're doing the work that's going to be required to get you to your goals. So I would say the peak zone, if you can, is where you want to stay. You can maintain that type of workout for about 20 to 30 minutes. That will create the afterburn effect for you and help you burn more calories efficiently while you're working out, as well as after. Cardio is for that more longer duration type of workout, like a run or a brisk walk, where maybe you want to be out past the 30-minute time frame. And then the fat burning zone would be, maybe just getting out and moving, or a yoga type of workout, anything that's going to get you just out of that resting heart rate zone. That would be your fat burning zone. So I monitor mine. If you kind of want to know too where your body's natural calorie burn rate for a day is, I always suggest monitoring your calorie burn for 3 consecutive days. The first day when you're resting, meaning you have no scheduled workouts. The second day when you do a vigorous or peak zone type of workout. And then the third day would be when you're doing something that's more along the fat burning cardio zone. You take an average of those 3 calorie burns for a complete 24-hour period. And that's sort of your baseline calorie burn if you're living a normal lifestyle where you're mixing in a regular routine of exercise and or movement. And that will kind of help you decide where you want to start with your own calorie burn for a day. So I hope this helps. Hope it clears up the question between the peak, the cardio, and the fat burning zone. I always say if you want to make some effective changes in your physique and lose some overall body fat, you want to shoot for that peak cardio or that peak heart rate zone and stay there for at least 20-30 minutes, 5 to 7 times a week. If you have any questions, definitely feel free to leave a comment below, or you can PM me and I will help you as much as I can try to figure out the best zone for you and try to help you find a workout program that will help you reach the desired goals that you're looking for with your workout routines.